Seems the season greetings are coming early this year. I keep saying The Red One. I actually think that is a different movie. Red One, the new Dwayne Rock Johnson, Chris Evans, J.K. Simmons adventure holiday action film where Santa gets kidnapped and he has to team up with a human to go rescue him. Hold on. The Red One. Is The Red One? I'm checking that right now. The Red One. No, I don't think that is. For some reason I felt like that was also a title, but a film, but it's not. Film has not been getting the best reviews. In fact, let me check where it currently sits on the Rotten Tomatoes meter. Because the critics were not loving this film. Hell, Venom 3 had a better Rotten Tomato score last I knew at around 36, 37 than this does. So let's see here. Where is the current Rotten Tomato score right now for this film? Nice schedule. Yeah. Okay, the Red One. Whoa! 33% with no audience scores right now. Venom, which did not get a lot of critical love, hit 41%. Hoofa! That's not good. That's not good, especially because this film was made on $250 million due to whatever overspending or whatever. We know for a fact there was some overspending done. It was around $200 million prior to the overspending, so it's about $250 now. This didn't get like the hugest marketing budget, which is probably the one thing that could save it. You're probably looking at a film that has to at minimum hit 450 to break even, and this one isn't projected for a big weekend. To start the review, let me actually just read a couple reviews right now for Red One, just to get an idea of what people generally thought. I'm going to read 3 negatives and 1 positive. So let me see here. Give me some reviews here. See here now. Some reviews. Come on. I hate when a computer is just taking, or when a site's just taking forever to. Okay. All right. I've got. I'll give you just 1 positive and 1 negative. A positive review. I am as cynical about the current state of the human condition as anyone. Okay. Red One taps into something honest and hopeful. Right now, with all that's going on in the real world, those aren't emotional states of being I want to take for granted. Okay, all right, that's fine. That's not bad at all. Current emotion, I mean, like the human condition, whatever. Someone else though said we all need a little Christmas now, but not this cynical cash grab, faking its holiday fun. The mind boggles that it cost $250 million to produce. I will agree on that. Bloated fiasco about Dwayne Johnson, Chris Evans saving a kidnapped J.K. Simmons Santa. Bah humbug. Let me find another negative review. The CGI, at once hideous and unimaginative, the cyberpunk versions of fancy and futurism, and the world building is like cotton candy. All volume, no substance. So, I say all this. And it's 33% with 106 reviews. Actually, it's 32% now with 106 reviews. So it's probably not climbing much if we get any more positives. But I start with all this because when I was hearing that was getting a lot of negativity, I'm like, oh God, how bad is it? How like shallow is it? Like, it's a commercial. It's so commercial. It's all this. And I sat down and I watched the movie. And I think a lot of people have sticks up their asses. I'm not gonna lie. Look, everything's subjective. If you don't like it for a legitimate reason, that's great. The little I've heard, like, I'm not hearing a legitimate reason to dislike this film. Is it original? No. An elf, granted, a big burly, giant elf, played by Dwayne Johnson, teaming up with a human to go rescue Santa from getting kidnapped. Santa's kidnapped? So original. No, that's not original. Someone wants to destroy or manipulate Christmas. That's not original. Guy has a bad relationship with his dad. That's not original. These two don't get along. That's not original. But guess what? The level of originality when it comes to tropes is non-existent at this point. Like, practically. It takes a lot of creative thinking to think up a new spin on a or just a new trope. So right out the gate, anyone who's getting like annoyed by that, you need to take a step back and realize all those tropes exist. It's about whether or not you think they do them well. If you legitimately don't think the writing in this film is good, that's fine. But from my viewpoint, I had a lot of fun with the film. Is it perfect? No. Does the CGI not look great sometimes? Yeah. Can you even tell they're on like green screens occasionally? Yeah, there's one scene, not gonna explain the context, but they're trapped in snow globes. That's all the context I'll give to that. And it does, you can kind of tell, it's like, wow, this isn't looking great. But at the same time, because you're looking, the excuse you can kind of give it is because you're looking at it through like the curved glass of a snow globe. Maybe it's giving that distorted reality effect. But look, I like, the opposites attracts, they got to work together kind of angle if it's done well. I like go rescue the person go rescue Santa or person important if it's done well. I think it's done effective here. I like Dwayne Johnson is like he's still playing Dwayne Johnson, but Dwayne Johnson is an elf, but he's still entertaining. He still can do the action. He's can bring a little bit of the well. Let me put it this way: he's not the person bringing the heart. The heart's kind of brought to him, if that makes any sense. There's things going on that is bringing heart, in my opinion, that he's reacting to, and we see like his, him kind of coming back. Again, another trope: guy who has a crisis of faith about the work he's doing. Is it worth it or not? Like we've seen all these things before, but yeah. Obviously, you know the plot. Chris Evans is apparently the world's greatest tracker, can find anyone. Santa's kidnapped. He's involved in it unintentionally, and so he's brought in to help. He's kind of a deadbeat dad, and I appreciate the fact that just to start out with, we see that this guy was kind of a little shit to begin with. He's not an evil person, but he's like a disillusioned kid. Now, this might be the one thing that I would have liked to have heard them go a little bit more into why he's like that. I think they give like one off the cuff line, not even one random line about his dad left. That was it. Like that's all we get. But I do like the fact that as a kid, he's he's talking to his uncle and he's like says, "Oh yeah, you're telling me Santa can do all this with it?" "Oh yeah." It's like, what did the reindeers eat? It's like, how did the reindeers do it? Carrots? I was like, look, I don't know all the details, okay? Oh man. But yeah, even as a kid, he was kind of a shit, but he's a tragic shit. And obviously you get the career guy, Dwayne Johnson, who's become disillusioned with the holiday, unfortunately. And this is no big spoilers or anything. He basically says it's not the kids that I have a problem with, it's the adults. There's a scene in the very beginning with a mall. They're like doing mall Santa stuff, and apparently they do that and they enjoy it for what it's worth. That where someone comes into the fray, they're like, and I'm like, oh my god, this is cringing. I am cringing so hard right now. Stop it. And luckily it's like, okay, we're stopping this. But yeah, and so that's kind of like their journeys are to become better people, become more engrossed in the holiday. What I really love about this movie, but what I really enjoyed about the movie is threefold. One, the creativity in the world is actually really fun. There's like they're not theoretically new concept, but they're done in a way where I'm like, oh, okay, this is different. I'm digging this. Okay, cool tech, all that, like fun. So also, this is how they're doing it. All right, I get this. So there's that. Two, the characters overall are actually pretty enjoyable in their own way, I feel. Some people are saying, oh, it feels hollow. Like, look, that's a matter of interpretation. I think they felt like generally like fun, interesting characters. Specifically, Krampus steals the show. Krampus is awesome. Krampus is in this film a lot more than you think, too. He has his own sleigh, which is like a freaking like motor, like the engine of a car that just burns on, like just fires exhaust out and like screams. Krampus slump. I could kill him in one blow, but that'd be no fun. And to add on to that, I need me a J.K. Simmons Santa movie. J.K. Simmons was one of those characters. It was one of those actors who's fantastic, Oscar winning. He's never turning in a bad performance, I think. He's either always having fun or always getting in his A game. Here, he's having fun, and yet he delivers some of the most heartfelt lines in the movie. There's a monologue he has about Dwayne Johnson and why he keeps doing it, why they need to keep doing it, about the kids, and every adult still has that kid. It's such a heartwarming little speech he gives to Dwayne Johnson, and it's just. I don't know. I love seeing this Santa work. By the way, we see how he delivers the present. It's kind of amazing. And by the way, J.K. at like 60 some odd years old, got guns on him, man. Got guns, so he can he could beat your ass still. So yeah, Krampus, Santa. I need me a J.K. Simmons Santa movie or series, which leads me to my third thing I loved about this. The lore of the world. I honestly think, first up, we'll get to a bit of a negative when it comes to we'll talk more about the budget in a little bit. But I really think, because you got this organization called Mora, M-O-R-A, it's either Moira or Mora, which basically like protects the mythical world, all that. And so we see a couple different characters. We see Krampus, like you see in the movie. In the trailer, you see the Headless Horseman. We see elves. I think we see trolls. Not gonna say how you see trolls, but you see trolls. So there's a whole world of mythology here, and it's got its own kind of. I'm sure the Easter Bunny, a Tooth Fairy exists. Jack Frost, because the villain is. I'm not gonna say who the villain is, but they are another type of mythological being that you don't actually see the villain, but. Let me put it this way. You do kind of see the villain in the trailer, but you don't actually see the villain in the trailer, is what I mean. You see a glimpse of them, but you wouldn't have known you wouldn't know it from watching the film until later on. I'm not going to say too much about that, but they just have so much lore in this movie that watching it, I'm thinking, this would make a fun, 10-episode series. Like, maybe you could station it in the North Pole. I don't know if Dwayne Johnson would be willing to do another series like Baller, but like he did Baller. But you could probably put, I don't know, because you could probably put maybe 300 million behind the entire series if you really want to get, and that way you could have like 60 million per episode. You'd have to cut some expenses, but still you could get a lot done with 60 million per episode. Look what the MCU is usually able to do with their good shows on a decent budget. Or Star Wars, for example. And even then, they don't have the biggest budgets always. Point being, and maybe station it at the North Pole. You can still have these characters. Maybe you could just have Chris Evans and occasionally Dwayne Johnson's in there, just, budget, whatever. And dealing with trying to help another mythological creature. Help the Easter Bunny. Help, I don't know, I'm going to think of some random mythological beings from folklore. Because these are folklore beings, not just the Chimera or anything but no, folklore kind of characters. Rumpelstiltskin. Maybe he's a bad guy at one point. Again, I'm just trying to think of a couple other ones right off the top of my head here for Sam Hain could have been another character you could have thrown in there for a villain for a Halloween episode. I'm just spitballing characters here. There's plenty of characters that in mythology and folklore that you could use in there. But no, the way I would love to see just more of this world. There's a lot I think you could explore with it. Unfortunately, this movie is just not going to get a sequel. Despite the fact that I like these characters, I had a good time. I got laughs. The action's fun. The effects varied. I'll admit that. Sometimes they were good, sometimes they weren't. The snowman looked good. The snowman effect looked really good. But then we see the villain later on, and I'm like, that didn't look so good. Krampus looks great though. He's all practical, except for his tail doing some CGI stuff now and then. But yeah, $250 million. I don't know what the marketing budget on this film is. I assume it's not actually very large. Surprisingly so. Let me see if I can find the Red One's marketing budget. If I can, hold on. Let's see here. Okay, Red One. All right, and then okay, budget. As soon as this decides to load, budget. All right, so there's the standard budget, which if I remember correctly right now, yeah, 250 million. Let's see. Now let's try marketing budget, because they did do some other marketing outside of the trailers. Like they did the M&M commercial. It's being attached to Cinemark. Marketing budget. Let's see. Do we have anything for the marketing budget on this? Okay, so let's see. Most people are predicting this film's actually going to have to hit about 500 million to break even. That does mean that we're looking at a film that probably has a marketing budget, roughly speaking, of about 80 million, give or take. Which, that does seem to add up. That would add up. It's like not, it definitely didn't need $100 billion. But unfortunately, that would also mean that even if they scale it back down to the 200 million it was supposed to be on, you're still looking at a film that would have had to still cleared close to $450 million. And right now, from what I can find, it's tracking for about a $35 million opening week. That is not good. That is not good. It sucks too. I could see this becoming kind of a fun little Christmas classic, honestly. Oh, I forgot, Lucy Liu's in this film. Lucy Liu's great. I love me some Lucy Liu. She looking good too. Like, Lucy. But yeah, ultimately, it's just not a film that's gonna do very well. It's a shame. I'm not saying this film deserves to make $1 billion, but I would say at least deserves to make its money back. I don't blame too many people for it like being too expensive, except for the people who greenlit the budget. Because looking at it, I've seen films do a lot more, quite frankly, with a less of a budget than 250. Now the 250, I think, is because they had to go over budget because some issues with Dwayne. He's kind of becoming a little notorious. He's a little difficult on set. Not like Russell Crowe difficult or anything like that, or Joaquin Phoenix difficult, but I think he's just a little wrapped up in his own ego occasionally. I hear he's a wonderful man in real life, like very friendly, cordial, all that. He's got a friendly personality. I think he's just had so much success now that it's just, he's gotten a little full of himself. Which, to be fair, you have to have at least some ego when you're The Rock. But overall, yeah, this isn't. I imagine you could have gotten away. No joke. I think you could have gotten away with about 150 million, because the effects overall aren't much greater or much better or much worse than, say, Godzilla versus Godzilla and Kong: New Empire, and that was about, I believe, 160. I can't remember. Was that 160 or 130 the budget? I want to say it was 160. Godzilla and Kong, New Empire. Boo boo do 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 boo do do do. 1 second now. Boo do do do. Wee wee. Well, history shows again and again how nature falls out the folly of man. All right, New Empire budget. Whoa, no, they say he's got the go Godzilla. Oh, actually, I was wrong. They estimated the budget was between 135 and 150. If you average that out, that means this film was actually only made on about 140, give or take. So they actually were able to really scale the budget back quite a bit. And honestly, they were still able to get basically visually the same stuff you got here, if not better. I actually bought those things were in that movie, whereas sometimes, like the polar bear, I don't necessarily buy he's in the frame. I sometimes believe they're just on a green screen. Now, to be fair, that is also because they've worked on those franchises for so long now that they've got a good idea for like the model, all that, the texture, so it's really not that difficult to keep doing that. But not gonna lie, you probably could have gotten away with, roughly speaking, that amount of money for this movie as well. Which does not mean this movie would make its money back. But if it has an $80 million marketing budget based on the predictions of what this film needs to make, you're looking at a film that would have only had to have hit, what, $340 million, which is look, if this film has any hope of making its money back, and I mean any hope, it's got to be from the international market, because it's not doing it domestically. It's not going to open big. It's going to open probably between, even if we highball it and say it overperforms, it's probably not making more than like 40 million this opening weekend. And then it's got freaking Gladiator 2 and Wicked coming out next week. It's dead in the water. like it might have a little bit of life throughout the holidays, but it's not. It is not making any money back here in the States. Just isn't going to happen. Yeah, it's got to be the international market. It's got to be. And even that is not a guarantee. So, it is what it is. Now, what did I get for trailers? I got a weird. First off, I got less trailers this time around than I normally get. But I got a weird mix of trailers this time around. I believe. Let me get the trailers up here, or movies coming out real quick. Did not get Wicked for a change, or Gladiator, because it's coming out. So, yeah, there's really no point in that. But that being said, let's see here. Let's see. I got 2 trailers that I just had never seen the trailer for. Let's see. Flow with a Whiteout, Black Sea. Oh, there's a movie. September 5th, based about the actual terrorist attack on the Olympics in Munich. It's coming. I just find it not the movie amusing. I just find it amusing. It's coming out on September 5th. It's coming out November 9th. I find that amusing. What was the seed of the Christmas Quest? Nope. Your Fault? Nope. What were the other ones? There's one. There's one that's based on a true story about a female boxer, which I can't remember the name of it. We got the Lord of the Rings, or at least I got the Lord of the Rings trailer because I was the only one in the theater. Another sign that this is not going to do well for this film. I was the only one there. We got a couple films coming out next year. I got the Captain America trailer, the previous one, not the new one. I was actually surprised we got the previous one, not the new one. They did just drop the newest one like this weekend. So either way, there was a couple other trailers, but nothing really stood out to me. Stuck out to me. Either way, though, look, I enjoyed the film. I don't look. It's all subjective. I get if you don't like the film, I'm not going to judge you for it. But I'm just wondering what people were expecting with it. People are calling it like hollow or just a cash grab. Like, well, hey, any money's a cash grab. Stop using the goddamn term unless it's something very obvious like Joker 2. That one you can use a cash grab term for. That was a cash grab. There was no need for that movie to be made. That's a cash grab. But 95% of the time, every movie's a cash grab. It's designed to make money. So stop. People who are trying to criticize or critique, stop using that term. You're overusing it. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know what people were expecting. It's not like it's not going to be a new holiday classic, I don't think, but it's a good time. That's all I can say is that I had a good time. Anyway, that's my thoughts. What do you think? Have you seen the movie yet? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. The next My Hero What If will be out tomorrow. And then when we're done with that, we go back to the Dragon Ball What Ifs. Till then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you later.